For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the Dark Knight. Before the Empire.
For my ally is Force, and a powerful ally it is.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, penetrates us, binds the galaxy together.
What god am I? The last of the Jedi will you be?
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
I'll never turn to the dark side. You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Just for once, let me look on you with my own eyes.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Yo! And welcome to Rogue One, a Star Wars podcast for winners, episode 213. I'm your host, Johnny, and with me from the Canto Bight Dispatch, the amazing Emily Lind. How are you, Emily?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am well. So, Emily happened to experience Michael Pappas in his full Pappas effect, the maximum Paps, if you will, just minutes ago. So let me set the stage for you, Miss Lind. It was around 7 o'clock Eastern time, and I sent out the little group text. Hey, y'all ready to go? 8 p.m.? And I don't have to say Eastern anymore because they're all East Coast peeps. So I liked that part. And I was like, 8 p.m., y'all ready to go? Emily, first to respond, yep, all set, or something like that. And Mike's like, yep, ready to go. And then around, hold on, I can tell you exactly when, 7:48. At 7:48 p.m., as I'm setting up my laptop and getting my little blue microphone and my little ears on, getting the show notes together. No, I'm kidding. I don't do show notes. Fuck that shit. Mike sends the text at 7:48. And Emily, what is it? What did it say? Not what did it say, but what was the gist of the text?
The gist of it was that he can't do it, but maybe he can come on later.
He can't do it. He can't do it. He ain't coming on. So Emily, kind of a Padawan at this type of thing, she's like, oh, hope everything's okay. You know, she's the loving, caring, sweet Emily. What do? I ignore it. I'm like, I get these all the time from Mike. This is every week. One of the reasons why we love him. But he's unpredictable, and I'm just glad that Emily's on. I don't have to do a last-minute solo. So, Emily, were you shocked when you got that text message?
I wasn't shocked. I was, mildly disappointed because I always like talking to Mike. What are you going to do?
Well, you like talking to Mike so much. You got some interesting news to talk about?
Yeah. I might be joining another podcast as
Really?
a permanent host.
Really? What podcast are you joining and going to be a permanent host on?
I think it might be yours.
I think it is too. So, everyone listening, please welcome the new co-host to Rogue One, Miss Emily Lind. Officially welcome. This is awesome. This is the best news. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk you into it, because there was definitely a lot of begging on my part.
You were given a pretty hard sell.
Pretty hard sell. So there's going to be some changes to the podcast. We're going to give you some of them tonight, and then some of them in the coming weeks, right? So we're going to slow roll it, only because Emily and I and Mike, when he shows, we just got to iron out some details. A couple things that you may or may not know. Rogue One is no longer part of the Making Star Wars podcast network. We are also not going to be releasing on Thursdays anymore. We are going to be recording every other week. So it's going to be a twice a month podcast. That was one of the things that helped get Emily. She's like, I can't deal with Pappas every week. No, I'm kidding. That's not why. But we're going to be an every other week podcast. We are going to be around an hour, and that is because the amazing producer, Bill Beck, he is doing a tremendous job on the YouTube channel, and he's just getting better and better each week. Even if you heard the podcast, just when next time you're on YouTube, search Rogue One Pod and just go through the amazing visuals he does. There's jokes, he hops in. Like, watch this. You ready? Bill, come in and say hi.
I love you. I know.
See, and he probably said something funny, but I won't know until I watch it myself. He does like these amazing things. We're going to give him more time to do it. So now it's going to be even more amazing because he's going to have twice as long to do it, and we're not going to stress him out. There's also a couple other changes that we're definitely going to change. Some of the formatting, some of the styles, content, but we'll unload that as it goes. You'll know more next show. And again, next show will not be a week from today. It'll be 2 weeks from today. And Emily will be back because she's co-host. Lock it in. Chick, 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 chick. That's me etching it in stone. Chick, 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 chick. So I'm real excited. And in typical Pappas fashion, he's not here for her first show as an official host.
Maybe that's a good way to start it.
It makes sense.
It's fitting.
It's fitting. I mean, it's fitting. That's what it is. All right, so we have a tremendous amount of Star Wars news to cover today. So this is one of the shows that like I've been waiting to do. I binge watched Clone Wars this weekend. I started at episode 1 and I went all the way to episode 12. Emily, short. They're like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, it's pretty breezy.
Yeah. So let's start with a couple of the announcements. Taika Waititi, the amazing director-actor who did not just Jojo. Was it Jojo Rabbit? Jojo and the Rabbit?
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit, which he won an Oscar for writing. He's not just an actor, IG-11 in The Mandalorian, not just a director of an episode in The Mandalorian. Did he do 1 or 2? I forget. He definitely did 1.
1.
Filoni did 2. Okay, and I guess everyone else did 1. But he made a name for himself, in my opinion, at least mainstream, is when he directed Thor Ragnarok.
So good.
So good. Emily, what were some of the things, and I don't mean like scenes, but thematically, elements of Thor Ragnarok did you enjoy that he might bring to Star Wars?
I really like how fun Taika's movies are. And that's definitely true in Thor, where I thought the first Thor was fine, and then the second one is a big sack of shit. I think I waited a while to see Ragnarok until people have been like, no, it's actually good. And I like him so much. I like Taika so much. And I'm like, okay, fine, even though The Dark World was terrible. It was just like, it's lighthearted while still having like a real sense of the mythology of it all. And it's not just all jokes, but it's still really funny and still has a good story. And I just like the way that he seems to think about character. And I don't know, I think he's awesome.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is what he did was he brought kind of like that James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy, comedic humor to Thor Ragnarok and made it like a buddy film between him and Hulk, and he changed the way we look at Hulk as well. Like everyone, discusses like how Thor Ragnarok was great and funny and fun. It's while being serious when it needed to be and adventurous, but like it was funny. And he changed Hulk. He made Hulk like that endearing character, like gave him that like, gentle side. Now, granted, it was easier because like he started to like learn to speak, and then Thor Ragnarok, correct me if I'm wrong, that's when we started to hear the Hulk kind of talk, right?
I think so.
And you saw a lot of like the Hulk's personality. So if he takes that to Star Wars, because we haven't had a funny, dark humor Star Wars yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we've had jokes. I was saying it on my last solo show, because Mike bailed on me then too, that 3PO completely stole the Rise of Skywalker. Like, everyone was just so, Raise the Palpatine and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, do you guys realize how awesome 3PO was? Like, he was hysterical. But people forget because it was more in like that first half of the movie. Mm-hmm. Like I'm okay too, even though you didn't ask where I was or whatever. Just line after line, just 3PO killed it. So besides like your occasional, snarky comment from Han Solo, or you came in that thing, or the trash will do, comments like that, you didn't really have like a comedic Star Wars, and maybe Taika Waititi will bring that.
I mean, what I really hope is them bringing him on is a sign that they're really going to let him make the movie that he wants to make.
Did we ever have a, other than George Lucas, clearly, did we ever have like an Oscar winner? JJ never won an Oscar, right? Emmy's out the ass, but like I don't think he ever won an Oscar or even nominated. Rian Johnson just got nominated, so that counts. That means it was always in him. Oh, speaking of Rian Johnson, hello. Kind of thought the next one was going to go to him, and it didn't. So now we have to ask the question, is Rian going to get one at all now?
I mean, I don't know. I would like to think that they're having more than one movie in the works, because if they're not, that's actually like a real bad sign.
Yeah. Now they're releasing movies every 2 years, right? Star Wars movies every 2 years. Now we all assumed, or at least I assumed, that it was going to be a trilogy, right? But they didn't announce him doing a trilogy. They said just he's writing and directing the next. He's co-writing. Oh, we'll have to figure out who he has a co-writer. But yeah, they didn't announce it as a trilogy. They announced it.
Did they even say next? Because I heard a couple of people on Twitter say next, but when I looked at the actual announcement, it just said that Taika is developing a Star Wars feature film.
Oh, I assumed next. It's a good question. I don't know. I have the Star Wars post in front of me, and it says Lucasfilm, May 4th. Oh, happy Star Wars Day, by the way. Academy Award winner Taika Waititi to direct and co-write new Star Wars feature film for theatrical release. Oscar nominee Krysty Wilson Carnes to co-write screenplay. So you've got some heavy hitters there. I covered the Leslie Headland is going to do the Disney Plus show, and we don't know much about that. Okay, so it doesn't say next, but I'm assuming next. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe, but the co-writer on that, the Krysty Wilson Carnes, she co-wrote the 1917 script.
Oh, okay. Did you see that movie?
I'm sure it's really, really good, but I don't particularly like war movies, even really good ones.
It was okay. I mean, you very basic plot. Your brother's in trouble. You go, like, get him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 2-man mission, and they're basically just running for their lives the whole time. And he's like, it's like, I will do anything I can to save my brother. And then I guess if I tell you any more, it might spoil it for you, so I'll refrain. But what really made that movie was the cinematography. It wasn't like there was one scene where my jaw dropped, and I can't tell you about it because it'll ruin the movie for you when you go to see it. But there is one jaw-dropping scene. And then the rest of it's just like action. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But what do I know? But this, if he's first in line, then that means Rian Johnson isn't next.
I don't know if Rian Johnson wants to be next even, though. I mean, he said, last I heard was a few months ago, him saying that he's still working on writing new Star Wars. But it's not like he needs Star Wars now. And I hope that he still wants it. And I hope that it still happens, because I love that movie and I love him in general. But, I mean, after Knives Out, I think he can pretty well write his own ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I want him to do Star Wars, but I'm probably not going to watch The Last Jedi for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't love the movie. I didn't hate it. Like, I would never put me, in the category of the people that, like, hated it. I would never do that. But, like, it was on TV for May the 4th. It was, like, on TBS or anything, right? And I just happened to turn it on when Snoke, Rey, and Kylo were all in Snoke's chamber. And I stopped what I was doing and I watched that scene. Right. And then like Rey would like, then I saw like Rey, and I was in and out of the kitchen and stuff. And then I saw Rey like yelling at Luke Skywalker. It's like, did you try and hurt Kylo, Ben's whatever. And then like, the truth came out and he's like, I saw it in him, So I watched that scene. And then like it went back to like Rose and Finn and what's his name? Benicio del Toro, what's his character's name? I forget.
DJ.
His name was
something
DJ?
like that. It's initials or something. Yeah, don't join. Remember when everybody was like doing that stupid fucking thing?
So then it got to that stuff, and I was like, I'm out. And I turned it off, and I was like, oh, hopefully I'll come back in the kitchen when like he like kind of fights Luke Skywalker. I'll watch that scene. So that basically, to make a long story short, too late for that, right? I put it in the prequel category. Like there's parts of those movies I absolutely love, you know, and there's parts of those movies I just will not watch, and I'll flip the channel or I'll fast forward. I did this breakdown on Twitter like a couple weeks ago, but like The Phantom Menace, right? I love 33% of that movie. And The Clone Wars, when we get to that today, I absolutely love everything Darth Maul does. And I know it's like 6 minutes probably of that movie, but like love seeing Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace. So there's probably like a third of that movie I love. A third of that movie that I'm like, I'll watch it, but like I'm on my phone too. And a third of that movie I will fast forward. Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones is a little less. There's probably 20% of that movie that I will watch no matter what. 40% of that movie I will never watch again, like Padme and Anakin and just talking about sand and like, please talk to me. Is this torturing you? Whatever the line is, like, you know, say something. You know, I can't ever watch that again. And then parts where Obi-Wan Kenobi takes on Jango Fett, like I love it. I will watch it. I will watch Obi-Wan and Anakin take on Dooku, but I don't really enjoy the Yoda fight. I don't really like Yoda versus Dooku. I don't like seeing Yoda jump around and hop around like a little bunny rabbit on some type of Red Bull. And then Revenge of the Sith, like rock on. I don't think there's not much of that movie I don't like. Matter of fact, that's just a good film. Like I'll watch that film from start to finish. I love it. But it could be shorter, but I still like it. So now the Last Jedi is kind of in the category, with me at least, with The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. Like, you know, there's parts that I love and there's parts that I don't. And The Last Jedi is in that category. And I've only seen The Rise of Skywalker about 4 or 5 times. But now that it's on Disney Plus, right after I bought the DVD, mind you, now that it's on Disney Plus, I watched it a few times. And then that's when you know what scenes that you really like, that you don't check your phone, that you don't fast forward. I don't know. Do you have a similar? Yeah, go ahead.
No, because when I have that much of a movie that I don't like, if I don't like, and Johnny disappeared into his fake background, but when I have that much of a movie I don't like, I just don't watch that movie anymore.
Yeah, so Britt mentioned that, right? You haven't seen the prequels in forever.
I've seen 2 and 3. I watched maybe like 5 or 6 years ago because a podcast I listened to was talking about them and like did a commentary on one of them. So I watched it with that. But I don't think I've seen The Phantom Menace since it first came out, like on home release.
Wow. Yeah. You need to watch it again. So I agree with Britt. Like, you got to watch it again. And like, there's going to be parts of that movie that you're going to love. You haven't seen Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Darth Maul fight in like forever?
I might have seen that scene because, like, you know, like I would have seen like bits of it just like flipping around on cable or something like that.
And that's like the true test. Flipping around, you're channel surfing, and you come to a scene, and you're like, ooh, and you keep it or you don't. Like, that is the true test. Like, that's the whole point of my, and sorry it was too long, my 6-minute monologue explanation. But like, that's basically where I'm at now. I love Star Wars? Yes, you know, but I can't watch every movie start to finish.
I don't think it's how much of Star Wars you love. I think it's how much you love the Star Wars that you do love.
That was deep.
I don't know if it's deep, but that's really good. Like, I don't love all of Star Wars, and in fact, there's quite a bit of Star Wars that I absolutely dislike.
Ooh,
but
let's talk about that.
I mean,
yes. Yes.
Really? You want to talk about The Rise of Skywalker? Because I don't.
We already did. Well, go ahead.
But like the stuff that I do love, I really, really love. I absolutely adore The Last Jedi, and The Force Awakens I kind of have to go back to because so much of my love for that is wrapped up in all the nostalgia and how excited I was when that movie was coming out, that it's hard to really know how much I actually like that movie. And then like the original trilogy, fuck yeah, I'll put it on like anytime. Like, those movies are awesome. And don't get me wrong, like, I think there's, like, you know, parts of A New Hope I'm going to get a little bit bored, but I'll still watch that movie.
Yeah, like, A New Hope starts slow. And I don't mean the opening scene. I mean, like, when you get to Tatooine, you're just kind of like, like, unfolding.
And also, that's sort of Luke at his whiniest, and I don't have a lot of time for it.
I don't have time for that shit. Uncle Owen, Luke. Yeah, so segue. Let's talk. Oh, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, which will be the Clone Wars. So we talked about Taika Waititi. So in short, You approve?
I'm so excited. One of my favorite directors.
Dude, fuck yeah, dude. I gotta go see Jojo Rabbit. Like, I know he won the Oscar, but I haven't seen it yet. But I think he saved Thor with Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of my favorite Marvel films. So he had me at that movie. We're both excited. What about Peyton Reed? Now, Peyton Reed's not doing a movie. He's going to direct an episode of The Mandalorian Season 2. What do you think about him? Are you familiar with his filmography? Because I have it right in front of me if you need it.
Okay, let me know, because I like the name rings a bell, but...
So I'm going to start with the ones that you've seen probably. Ant-Man.
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Didn't see that.
It's just like Ant-Man, but they added the Wasp.
That's what I figured.
And a worse villain. You know, it's a sequel. It's like, it's not as good as the original. Yes Man, and I think that's with Jim Carrey. He Can't Say No. It's a stupid comedy, to be honest with you.
Is that just like a variation on Liar Liar?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The Breakup with Vince Vaughn.
Okay.
I think Jennifer Aniston.
I think Jennifer Aniston.
Down with Love, which I have no idea.
Oh, is that like a Jude Law, like 50s set comedy, maybe?
Well, I don't know.
It's Obi Kenobi, you assholes.
That might be something else.
And then the best film on his filmography. Are you ready?
Okay.
Bring It On. Do you know that movie?
I've seen it like once back in college, maybe.
It's the cheerleader movie. So the reason why like I'm making a big point of that is because I have no interest in cheerleading. You know what I mean? Like, I have no interest in watching a movie about cheerleaders arguing and competing. But the movie's so well done, like, you get sucked in. And then you realize at one point you're like, I'm watching this movie called Bring It On about, like, rival cheerleaders. And it's, like, funny. And I'm laughing.
Yeah, no, it's good. Oh, and by the way, Down with Love is not Jude Law. It is, in fact, Obi-Wan himself.
What'd I tell you? Obi Kenobi.
Ewan McGregor.
Oh, hello there. Hello there, Peyton. Oh my God. You know what? I have all these voices and accents that Hawes made me stop doing through the years, and now I get to try them all out on you. Woo!
Oh, I don't think that's necessarily true.
Hello there. It's my family. That's my favorite. That's my go-to. Family. Yeah, so Peyton Reed. That sounds pretty good. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I mean, it's an episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like, I mean, I don't have any objections to it, like looking through the stuff that he's done.
Yeah, like, I mean, they announced it like in the same day, same breath, same way as Taika Waititi writing and directing a Star Wars feature film. Oh, for theatrical release. Let me get back to that in a second. It's like they were like, Taika Waititi, Academy Award winner, saved Marvel, saved Thor, doing a Star Wars feature film for theatrical release. And Peyton Reed is doing an episode of Mandalorian. It's just like they announced it, and it's just like, wow. It's like we have, and I'm not really putting, this is gonna sound messed up, but it's like, all right, we're having like this amazing lobster and filet mignon dinner, you know, on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, hot dogs. It's like,
Well, yeah. It's another thing, like, anytime you're announcing, hey, this guy is doing a movie and this guy is doing one episode of a second season of a TV show, it's a different thing.
I know, but they announced it like the same way. I just thought it was weird. All right, I'm going to read this statement to you, Miss Lind, and I want you to rip it apart for me. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. They stress the words theatrical release.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why do they stress the words theatrical release, you think?
Because they're going to be doing movies on Disney Plus.
Damn it. That was way too easy. Like, let's try it again. Like, let's struggle a little.
I mean, I think it's fairly straightforward. Maybe even if they don't have immediate plans to do that, they know that people are going to question it, so they just want it out there in the announcement.
Cool. All right.
Sorry, did I ruin your bit?
Yeah, a little bit. All right.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The year is 1978, and Palatoy bring you Star Wars. Here on Death Star, Ben Kenobi combats the awesome power of Darth Vader, while Han and Leia battle for their lives in the trash compactor. Luke evades the stormtroopers with R2, D2, and C-3PO. But can he escape in the X-Wing fighter? Only you will know. Only you can create your own Star Wars. Death Star, vehicles, figures, all sold separately. May the Force be with you.
All right. You want to talk Clone Wars?
We can talk Clone Wars.
I binge watched the whole thing, right? Episodes 1 through 12. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about like the finale, the final 4 episodes that they kind of did like a mini movie, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to weigh in on the first 8 episodes. Okay. So we'll chunk it like this. The Bad Batch. What did you think?
It was fine, but I don't have an emotional connection with the clones, so it doesn't really do much for me. And I think it probably should have been 3 episodes instead of 4.
Yeah. So when I watched the Clone Wars, I was super late to the party, so I binge watched that too. So I was expecting 3-episode arcs. So like when that 4th episode came on, it was still like the Bad Batch. I was like, what? So in short, my short review of the first 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, the final season, was I liked the characters. You know, they had the big, strong guy who seemed a little slow. They had Hunter, the leader. They had, I don't know, Sure Shot or whatever his name was, the sniper guy. Do you remember his name?
No, I forgot it 5 minutes after the episode ended.
You know, it's like that, you got the big strong guy, you got the leader who's crafty, his name's Hunter and he has like heightened senses. You got the bullseye character, I forget, Crosshair.
I mean, yeah, like they're very 80s action movie team. Like one of them literally has like a red bandana tied around his forehead. So
yeah. Who's the guy that created Deadpool? Rob Seinfeld? Liefeld. Yeah, it's like shit that he would have written in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know? I liked them, but didn't want to see them that long. In short, I was like, this sucks. I gotta be honest with you. It didn't grab me. Like I was like pushing through it. I just wasn't impressed.
I don't blame you.
It went nowhere. I didn't see the payoff. It didn't enrich the Star Wars films for me like the finale did, and we'll get to that. You know, it didn't progress any type of storyline or tell me anything new. It was just like, you guys want to watch clones go on missions and fight? Yeah, okay, let's do that. And that's really all it was.
This and the second arc as well both felt like they could have just been in like season 3 of the Clone Wars. And that's weird when you're bringing a show back after several years and making a huge deal in production of this is the last season of the Clone Wars. And then like only the last 4 episodes.
Can you do that again?
This is the last series of the Clone Wars. This is the last season of the Clone Wars. But it's like, the serious, dramatic Star Wars voice. And instead it's like, oh, this is just like a random story they had left over.
Hot garbage. If you take Ahsoka out of it, hot garbage. Pretend Ahsoka is the 3rd sister. So instead of 2 sisters, it's triplets, right? It's just the same thing as the Bad Batch. It's new characters who are related that go on a mission for some spice, drop the spice for no reason. Still don't understand why she dropped the spice. It's lazy writing, basically.
The entire conflict of that arc, because it's written in such a way where the only way to justify it is having the characters do the stupidest thing possible at any moment. All 3 of them do it repeatedly with like no, okay, but here's what they were thinking and why they did it. It's just, oh no, that now Ahsoka's being an idiot. Now this character's being an idiot. Now it's the time for the other character to be an idiot. So frustrating.
And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but remember when Ahsoka first met the pilot sister and she was getting her ass beat by the big dude?
Mm-hmm.
I had a problem with that on so many levels. Number one, you're watching this big muscular alien beat up a petite girl, right? That didn't look right. And then the fact that like this hero Jedi or ex-Jedi watched it happen. Like, I know she said stay out of it, but dude, she's getting her ass kicked. She wasn't winning. If she was like, stay out of it and whooped his ass, that's children television.
Yeah.
But she said, stay out of it and got her ass kicked. That's not good children television. Do you realize it was, what's that Quentin Tarantino movie? True Romance. Like, did you ever see True Romance? I know you saw True Romance. Okay, remember when she was getting her ass beat by Tony Soprano?
It's a horrible scene to watch.
Right. Fucking Disney Plus just gave that to you in cartoon form for 30 seconds. She was like getting beat up, and I'm like, it's like I keep like, for those of you watching on YouTube, like you can check me out. I just kept like looking back at Ahsoka, like, do something. Like, Ahsoka, like I don't know how many punches he got in, you know what I mean? And it wasn't like, and then like counter, boom, boom, hit him back. It was like, I'm getting my ass beat. I was like legitimate, like, I can't believe I'm watching. I might be overreacting, but I don't know. Am I overreacting?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't particularly think much of it, but also I'm so like disengaged from the Clone Wars and I'm like, oh, okay, this is just what's happening now.
Okay, so like anyone like next time hop on and watch it sometime in the next 2 weeks, right? So just a reminder, we will be back in 2 weeks. Maybe Michael will be here. I want to revisit this with you, and I want you to think True Romance Disney Plus style. really like, stay out of it, Ahsoka. So you knew that was coming. Like, I can handle this myself. And like, you're expecting her to handle shit. She did it. And like, it felt like forever to me. Maybe because I wasn't expecting it. Maybe it was because I was expecting that she's going to be fine moment. But like, yeah, wasn't winning. And Ahsoka took way too long to help out. I was like, help out.
That arc
how
was piece of shit.
hot garbage, dude. So go ahead. You vent.
You're the one who just watched it. I sort of have at least been able to immediately forget about it. When they were first talking about this season, and one of the things they mentioned was, oh, we're going to see Ahsoka after she leaves and she meets these sisters in the underworld. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. Like, what a neat idea. It'll be interesting to see, like, Ahsoka in that world. And there are little glimpses of it that I think actually make it more frustrating. Like the story of what happened to their parents, which is, their parents were casualties caught in, basically the aftermath of this huge fight with a Jedi. And I'm like, oh, that's potentially interesting story to really explore, which is the Jedi do leave damage wherever they go, and apparently don't particularly mind very much. They're like, sorry about that. I guess you'll just do whatever comes next, and then leave.
It's like Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Ultron.
Age of Ultron is the crossover that you have written in your head.
Yeah, thank you. That would be a good movie, though. I know Raj would like it. Raj from the Sith list. Cha-ching.
But yeah, it's like, oh, you could have done something with that. And you could have seen what it's like for people who aren't up above on the planet, where there's basically police and law and money. Like, do that. Instead, you get this stupid spice storyline. And
like, were they trying to be cute and like link like it to Solo 2? And they did do a callback later with Crimson Dawn was dropped. Like, were they trying to like link that in our minds?
I think so, to the extent of that's what Star Wars always likes to do, even when there's, something more interesting they could be doing instead.
Yeah. All right, you ready to talk about something good?
Okay.
All right, dude, those last 4 episodes were fucking sweet.
They were.
All right, I've done too much talking. Take it away.
Because I'm not much of a Clone Wars fan, it was this weird thing where I go, this is really cool, and a bit of sag in the middle. And during the Siege of Mandalore stuff, like the Maul Ahsoka fights, I really liked. But the fights when you're on like planet side and you're seeing the Mandalorians versus the clones, I had a hell of a time following any of it. Like, until the end of the battle, I had no idea who was winning that battle at any particular point in time.
I love, like, we'll just go over the place. Like, when one of the Mandos like said to Maul, like, come help or something, and he was like, nah, you're good. He's like, die well, Mandalorian. I'm like, that's my Maul.
Yeah.
That's my Maul.
And I thought he was cool. I like that when we have Maul talking to Ahsoka, everything he's telling her is true.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's a good idea to have your villains telling the truth. It's always a good call if you can get away with it.
Except in Last Jedi. Liar. That was.
Yeah, I mean,
not
that's.
Not to go off topic. But when I was on my island that Rey is somebody, and people were like, no, Rey's nobody. It's the theme of Star Wars. Ain't gonna be a Jedi. Kylo said it, and Sith don't lie. Nowhere in Star Wars did Sith ever tell a lie. They always tell the truth. And I'm like, fucking Kylo's lying, or he doesn't know. So sorry, I just had to get that in there.
But I thought that was a cool speech. I liked when Ahsoka is talking on the comms to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan tells her that Anakin just killed Dooku without being super explicit, which is good for them because it's something they normally feel the need to like hammer into you. They just kind of show you that Obi-Wan's really worried, but don't.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he's just sort of really hesitant and seems like still sort of shocked and not being like, hey, yeah, Anakin's going to be super cool and then he'll come help you. It's like this interesting thing, and it's not him explicitly stating, hey, I'm really worried about Anakin. Should we be concerned about Anakin? And for Star Wars, it was very lighthearted.
Wow, I didn't catch that. It's like in Anchorman 2, like Brett killed a guy. Yeah. Or was that Anchorman 1?
I do not know. I haven't seen either of them.
Wait, what? Oh my God. Okay, so remember, ladies and gentlemen, I was hinting that we were going to change the format. Well, we just fucking got our first segment. Holy shit. We are going to watch Anchorman together, full commentary. We'll split it up into we can do it in 4 half-hour spots so it's not overwhelming. Oh my Lord. Dude, you have no idea what San Diego means?
I don't.
Oh my God.
I don't particularly like Will Ferrell much.
You might, you know what? And I get you, and I get that, but Anchorman is different. We're gonna revisit this in the coming weeks.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that for now.
Put a pin in that. All right, so back to the Clone Wars. All right, so what did you think about the portrayal of Ahsoka in the final four? Like, I think we both agree, hot garbage. Like, just a waste of her talent. Like, she's a real person. Waste of the depth of character in those quote unquote sisters arc. What did you think of Ahsoka in the final four episodes?
She's good. I like it. I kind of wish it felt a little rushed from Siege of Mandalore to Order 66. And I get
Oh no, I think she froze. Did I lose Emily? Oh no. Emily. Oh, she's texting me. All right, let me see what I can do here. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
You are watching Cable 10, Aurora, Illinois Community Access Channel.
Okay, and we are back. We had some technical difficulties. We'll just pick it up where we left off. I don't know if Phil can make this smooth on YouTube, but we basically, the Skype just shit on us. Skype was like, I'm done. And we were like, wait, what? Okay, so do you remember where we left off?
we were talking about sort of Ahsoka in this last arc.
All right, so I don't think you finished your thoughts.
I'm just saying, you know, that I sort of wish we had like spent more time on either the half of the story. Like, I would have liked to explore the Siege of Mandalore more and also explore Order 66 more. And I sort of wish maybe they had just done this arc this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of complaints with those last 4 episodes. I thought they flowed the best they could. Now, on this podcast and on Twitter, and a lot of people have heard me just really complain about Ahsoka, right? I would make fun of Dave Filoni for like just bring her everywhere he goes, on Christmas cards, on Rebels, on The Mandalorian. No matter what his wife and kids want to do for Halloween, he dresses them up as Ahsoka. You know, like just Ahsoka this, Ahsoka that. However, this is the Ahsoka I love. I like the Padawan young Ahsoka. Little angst, little teenage angst, if you will, like Rebel without a lightsaber. You know what I mean? Oh, I can feel Bill Beck right now doing like a James Dean Rebel Without a Cause like image right now. I kind of feel it in my head. There it is. See, this is fun. Emily, just real quick before I make my Ahsoka point. Well, my Ahsoka point is this. This is the Ahsoka I like. These last 4 episodes is the Ahsoka that I fell in love with in Clone Wars, and this is the Ahsoka that should always be. Like the grown-up weird Ahsoka in Rebels, and then like space traveling Ahsoka, and I hope I like the Ahsoka in Mandalorian, assuming it's true, and I'm sure I will. But yeah, this is the Ahsoka I like. So I was very happy with Ahsoka. I don't like the fact that she defeated Maul.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like you're not even a Jedi Knight. You're not a Jedi Master. Maul killed Qui-Gon, gave Obi-Wan everything he can handle, cheated death, because that's what the Sith do. That part I didn't like. Like, Maul would have, come on, it's Maul. What did you think about that? Did that...
It didn't bother me, but I didn't particularly care. I think they just really wanted a way to get Maul on the ship for that last episode so she can set him free. And he goes and, you know, kills a bunch of people.
Yeah. I did like that a lot.
I have to do. And I gotta say, the last moment, I really like when we see Ahsoka in the cloak and everything, putting down her lightsaber and seeing like all the helmets arranged.
Were you almost expecting it to like sink into the sand like Rey?
I didn't know. I did not even think about that.
I was waiting for it. I was like, sink, bitch. Sink that fucking lightsaber. Oh, by the way, just for the record, I was calling the lightsaber a bitch. Remember, I'm from Jersey. That's what we do in Jersey. Everything's a bitch. Like, drink that bitch. So, like, I was like, sink that bitch in the sand. You know what I mean? Like, come on, sink. And it never did. Oh, go ahead.
And I'd like to get your opinion on this. I kind of wish it hadn't then transitioned into Vader. And I get what they were going for there with like him picking up the lightsaber and the Vader, like the Anakin Ahsoka connection. But I liked Ahsoka being the last one that we saw in Clone Wars. Like if it's going to be her story, which so much of it is, then especially this arc, end it with her. I
didn't think about it, but it makes sense. But I'm not going to lie to you and say I didn't fucking get like, you know, jazz seeing Vader.
If I could divorce it from that, like, I think it's a really cool scene. And I do like the very, very last shot of just the close up on the helmet, like the clone helmet, is great because it's like they're whatever Order 66 happened, like the clones are still a real victim here, not just of this, but of like the entire Clone Wars and sort of the tragedy of the clones. And so I think that's really cool. But I'm just like, when I saw Vader, I'm like, oh, but this story is Ahsoka's story.
You're not wrong. I agree. I mean, especially like, wow, are we really saying to Dave Filoni you didn't have enough Ahsoka at the end there? Like,
What I would just say, like, it seemed so out of place considering like everything. I get that it's Star Wars and they want to stick in Vader whenever they can stick in Vader, but you had this beautiful moment with Ahsoka that seemed like, oh, that's the end, and then nope, here's one more scene.
Fucking great scene though. Cool scene. Do you think it's Hoth?
I don't know. I would like to think that not everything with snow is immediately Hoth, because that's some dumbass shit. But it's hard to not think Hoth when you see it in Star Wars.
I have a Hoth theory. Hoth didn't like it. Run it by you.
Okay.
So clearly, when Ahsoka, dropped her lightsaber, there was no snow, right? And it's referred to in Empire as the ice planet Hoth, right? Or like in packaging, whatever. It's in my mind somewhere. So maybe Hoth went through like an ice age in that short time between Ahsoka dropping her lightsaber and the Rebel base being there. And maybe that's why, now I'm rolling with it. And maybe that's why the Rebels chose that, because everyone in the universe took that planet for dead. Like no one could live there, so it would be the safest place for a Rebel base. Just what do you think?
So what the hell happened to Hoth in like 15 years?
Well, what happened to Earth? Like an asteroid hit it, global warming, black out the sun, gets cold as shit, polar ice caps. I don't know. We've had an ice age several times.
I mean, 15 years is pretty fucking quick for an ice age to happen.
An ice age would happen almost immediately. You black out the sun, it gets pretty cold quick. It would happen relatively quick. So Michael Bay taught me in Armageddon that if an asteroid,
completely 100% scientific fact.
Listen, Billy Bob Thornton was very convincing. So if an asteroid the size of Texas hit Earth, it would be a global killer, right? Black out the sun, dead. Right? And that would happen immediately. And then it would get cold and cold and cold and ice cold. And we have our planet is 75% water, so that would turn ice. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, although I don't know how much time it would take to go from like an Earth to an ice planet, but like I know 15 years is plenty of time. I bet you it would take months, maybe months to a year.
So do you think like the Wampa just happened to be perfectly evolved to survive the Ice Age? On a formerly not nice planet?
That's a good point. So even though I feel a planet can definitely become an ice cube in weeks to months, no, I don't think like an amoeba can evolve to a Wampa in 15 years. No, that's millions of years of growing and changing and Darwinism, if you will. Yeah, that's a good point. But then again, the Wampa, we see it as like a snow bear monster, right? But if you look at Attack of the Clones, in the desert planet of whatever it was. What was the arena in Attack of the Clones?
I am the wrong person to ask.
Starts with a C, I think. It's not Coruscant. All right, forget it. Not important. But, all right, so do you remember like the gladiator type Coliseum they were in?
Yes.
Okay, that was like sand. Like, remember when Padme fell like 7,000 feet out of like the ship and she just rolled 3 times in the sand? Remember? That's my worst part of her. That's like a planet of just like hot, like Tatooine, right? But when they were fighting the animals, there was like an animal in the arena Coliseum that didn't look like it would be indigenous to like a desert planet. So Star Wars has broken that rule before. So there's a possibility. I took a long time to say this. Star Wars takes liberties with stuff like that. And maybe we could have had, you know what? I'm just going to shut up.
Well, it could be. I don't like your theory, but it could be. I mean, not all of Earth is ice. But we still have places that are icy and animals that live there. So maybe the Wampa was like a polar bear where it like lived up on, the icy part of Hoth. And then once all of Hoth is the icy part of Hoth, then the Wampa's like, fuck, man, now I can just go anywhere I want.
There you go. Fucking Pangea land bridge that shit. That's what I like to hear. Thank you for saving my theory. And can we all be like real for a second? You take away the Wampa's teeth and claws, and like, dude, is that thing not adorable or what?
It's the Bumble from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer special.
You're right. Oh my god. I always wanted to get a big fluffy white dog and call him Wampa.
Aw,
Dude, for real, is that not like a legit Star Wars dog name?
that's a good Star Wars dog name.
Wampa, but it's gotta be like all white, right? Like a white dog or mostly
yeah.
white. Wampa, come here, Wampa. I need a dog. I miss Chewbacca and Leia.
Oh,
I know. Hi, welcome to Rogue One, where Johnny gets sad about his dogs frequently.
they were good dogs.
Oh, they were a great dog. Oh, so good. All right, what else did you? Oh, I was kissing the dog memory, not like making googly eyes at Emily. Just sorry about that, Emily. That was for my doggies. See, like Mike and Hawes like knew that stuff. You know, I think maybe episode 3, Hawes was like, "Did you just blow kisses at me, bro?" And I'm like, "No, man, I was at my dog. Unless you liked it, you know."
You would totally blow kisses at Hawes.
Absolutely. I just want to get up all in that beard. Now I see like a small picture of me entering Hawes's beard. Great. Thank you, Bill Beck. Have you tried it yet, Emily? Have you tried to summon Bill Beck's powers to like make it appear on YouTube? You want to try it now?
I don't have anything that I'm thinking of, so.
Anything. Like you can say fucking milkshake and watch this. Milkshake, Bill Beck.
I mean, let's be honest, like, what's the first thing I'm going to be summoning is summoning Ben Mendelsohn. So make that happen. Go right here.
And there is Ben Mendelsohn. Probably is Krennic.
Probably. I'll take any flavor I can get, but yeah, probably.
Is there like shirtless images of Ben Mendelsohn out there?
There's some. He's not like done a ton of that.
We're just giving Bill his time.
I mean, you see his, or at least close to seeing his bare ass in Bloodline, but that's all I can think of.
All right. Well, you keep thinking about his bare ass as much as you need to. We should probably get back to the Clone Wars sometime. So yeah, I gotta watch it again and check and see that moment for Obi-Wan. Kind of like, dude, he fucking killed Dooku. I'm shocked. But other than that, I think this is everything good about Clone Wars was in those last 4 episodes. You know what I mean? It's like that Dave Filoni and all the other people involved, like you nailed that. Like you crushed it. You did exactly what you set out to do. You sent Clone Wars out in a bang. I just wish, and it's really not that big of a deal because I flew through them. They're like 20 minutes long. It wasn't a big deal. But he should have just made a Clone Wars movie and just have it be like the last 4 episodes.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I saw someone on Twitter, or I saw something, and it said, and I was right around episode 6 or 7, and I was like, wow, like this sucks. Like this is not good. I'm reading everyone loving the Clone Wars. Like it's okay. And then obviously me being behind, people saw, you know, the final 4 episodes and they saw the finale, and someone said, so you still think those first episodes were just filler? So I was waiting as I was watching the final 4 episodes for the sisters to come flying out of nowhere to save the day, or, you know, maybe the Bad Batch to come and save somebody. Like I was waiting for it to tie together somehow, and it never did. So I was like, yeah, person who sent that out or meme or whatever, it was filler. Like it didn't pay off. And maybe it was just someone's one careless tweet or a tweet that I didn't understand or misread. But when someone says still think those, that's what it was. It was a Dave Filoni meme with like a little smirk, like, and it said still think those episodes were just filler. It's like, yeah, I do. Because I do. Like, whoever made that meme, you're wrong. And the whole time I'm like, where are the sisters? Where's the Bad Batch? Like, because that meme told me it's going to pay off. Like, that's what I had in my mind. And it fucking didn't. Fucking sucked. Not sucked. That's harsh. But I will say this. A couple people who love Ahsoka, like Fernando. You know Fernando.
Mm-hmm. Do.
He loves Ahsoka. And he was just like, he didn't really like those episodes. Ray, did you ever meet Ray? No, Ray never made it out when we went out. Ray is awesome. I was introduced to Ray through Mike, and he loves Ahsoka. So I was behind, you know, again, I binged. But he would give me updates. He goes, this sucks. And I'm like, you love Ahsoka. He's like, I totally love Ahsoka. He goes, this sucks. So they built up the Ahsoka, and it let them down for 3 episodes or 4 episodes. How long was the
4.
Ahsoka sister? 4?
4. Yeah, it's 4.
444. Okay, so like people were pissed off for 4 episodes. I mean, clearly ended on a great roller coaster finale. Well done. But dude, for 4 weeks, people were pissed. Those Ahsoka fans were pissed. And those are 2 dudes that like love Ahsoka. Like Ray and Fernando love Ahsoka.
That's interesting.
All right, so before we go to our first video message, which I'm real excited about, and a email, any closing thoughts on the Clone Wars? Because it's legit over. It ain't coming back. There's no more Clone Wars saved. It's Clone Wars finito.
I mean, I didn't watch the Clone Wars until like a year or 2 ago, so I don't have any sort of emotional connection to it, and especially because it's prequel era, and I don't really enjoy the prequels. But I'm very glad that the fans of the show who this really does mean something to, people like Corey, woohoo! I'm glad that they got an ending, and an ending that they really liked and felt emotionally satisfying to them. That's really cool. For me, I watched it and I thought those last episodes, like I enjoyed them. They're fine. I'm never going to watch the Clone Wars again. But I know what it's like to love a show and have it be like, hey, we're not making the show anymore. And it sucks. And so I'm glad that it finally have an end for the show that they loved for years. That's great. That's always good to see.
I know. I definitely like to see my friends happy. And I think you're right. And because I don't have an emotional attachment either. So like there were people that lived with this show week in, week out from season to season for 6 years, right? 7 years. This would be the 7th year. But like for 6 consecutive years, like they lived it. And it was every week waiting and falling in love with the characters and whatnot. So yeah, they were very happy. You clearly don't have that emotional connection to it, and neither do I. The most I can say is when I binge watched it the first time, like I liked it, but there were definitely 3 episode arcs where I was just, fuck, let me go make like an omelet and come back and hopefully it'll be over and the next one's better. You know, I had those moments. And when you're binge watching, you can forgive a show for those moments. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, all right, let's go to the next one. Let's just go to the next one. I must say, all in all, well done. That finale was fucking awesome. It was a great Star War. It was a great war in the stars. And I definitely think it enriched Revenge of the Sith for me.
It's good.
Yeah. I wonder if you should maybe take Britt's advice. Get going in there. Get back in there.
We'll see.
I'm 1 for 1 talking in and shit. So, like, I mean, you're here. So I'm 1 for 1.
Yeah.
I might win the Anchorman one. I did get C. Hawes to watch the Godfather trilogy. So maybe I can get you to see the Anchorman 1 and 2. You never heard, like, oh my God. Okay, we'll get to that.
I've heard lots of quotes from it. I've seen lots of like fucking GIFs and everything. I've never seen them.
And you don't know what San Diego means, like what the translation is. Oh, I can't. It's pretty funny. It's so absurd. It's funny. Did you ever see the movie Step Brothers?
Yes.
You saw it once?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't like it the first time I saw it. For some reason, I saw it again, and it's like Beetlejuice. Like, it keeps getting funnier every time I see it. But I don't know, it grows on you. Will Ferrell grows on you. That's what I learned. He grows on you. Okay, so let me... All right, so we have our first video message. So let's do that first. So Bill, play the video message from Glenn.
Hey guys, it's Glenn Williams. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I help run the Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors. It's a Facebook collectors club. We started about 3 years ago. We have about 600 members. About 50 to 100 of them are currently active. And some of those guys, we started a podcast called Smuggler's Galaxy, focusing on the collecting aspect of Star Wars. Anyway, that being said, just curious, what other toy lines do you guys collect other than Star Wars? I know I've heard you guys mention G1 Transformers before, but I'm just curious what else y'all collect. Anyway, y'all have a great day. May the Force be with you.
All right, so that was Glenn. Emily, you go first. What kind of, do you collect? I know you collect Star Wars. What do you collect? What do you have? And is there any other toy lines that you do besides Star Wars?
I have stuff. It's not collecting in terms of I'm trying to get everything of something. I like having a couple of things from stuff that I really like. My Star Wars stuff, I have all of the Tarkin figures.
How many are there?
There were 7 or 8 of like just the, like the standard action figures. Mm-hmm. And then I have the Hot Toy and I have the weird, you'll see this on the YouTube, but for the podcast, it's sort of like the 12-inch, like kind of like Barbie doll scale
Oh, I've never
One.
seen that before.
Yeah, he came packaged with, I think, with a stormtrooper. And then I have some Lego ones and just some other assorted things. Like, they make Star Wars marbles.
Oh.
And so I have a little Tarkin A New Hope marble. Because
Oh, wow, that looks good.
I have a ton of Krennic stuff. I mean, well, I have all the Krennic stuff that they make, which was not, that much. But I kind of like that because I could conceivably get all the Tarkins that they made. If I really liked Luke, I couldn't get all the Lukes that they made.
Oh, you can get it, but it would be expensive.
Yeah, no, I mean, I personally could not get it. I can't afford to collect like that. I have a bunch of Battlestar Galactica action figures and some Farscape and a couple of Buffy and Star Trek and some horror things. I have one of the Reservoir Dog dolls. I have Mr. Brown, Quentin Tarantino's character, and just a lot of like assorted shit. Oh, and I have a couple of He-Man ones.
Yes. Damn you, Chris Fresh. Did you ever hear my He-Man story?
That you got them and then you sold them and now you want to get them again?
That's the story. No need to. That's it. That's the story. I have to finish the Star Wars run and then I'm going to go back to that.
You went really heavy on those.
Dude, I went bananas. I think I have OCD, and I think my OCD helps in my job, but hurts me in every other part of my life. You have a Deadpool.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I just want to just tell people how cool you are. You have a fucking Hot Toys Deadpool. Not just a Deadpool. You have a Hot Toys Deadpool.
Yeah, I won that one, which is why I have that, because Hot Toys, I like Hot Toys, but they're friggin' expensive.
Yeah, man. Funny Haas story. I was talking to Haas today or last night. We brought up all the new Hot Toys being released. I was like, Hot Toys is trying to fucking bankrupt you. Hot Toys is twirling their evil mustache saying we are going to chapter 11, Haas Burkhart's Beard of Knowledge. We want to make him go broke. They're trying. They're just keep putting out shit that he has no choice but to get. But they're coming out with some sweet Mandalorian shit, man. Did you see the biker scout with the speeder bike?
Yeah.
That's a Pappas thing. If Pappas ever gets a hot toy, that's his thing. He loves the biker scout. And Glenn, for me to answer your question, Emily kind of brought it up. I have a lot of other interests that I just need to get to after I finish my Star Wars run. The Vinyl Cape Jawa way. I'm army building C-3PO and Chewbacca. And yeah, I would like to start on Masterpiece Transformers, G1 Transformers. I have no problem with reissue G1 Transformers. But if it's not Masterpiece and it's not G1, either original or G1 reissue, it's garbage to me. I don't like the middle Transformers. And I know Fernando agrees with me there. He's not a big fan of the plastic Transformers either. What else do I like? I have to get myself a Voltron. Mm-hmm. But that's you just get one. You get that 1980 diecast one and you're done. That's it. Quick, easy toy line, right? And He-Man. And then I'm going to get back to He-Man. Except I'm going to change, Emily, with when I first started that He-Man, I tried to get them all. Now, after I played with them, yes, I did play with them. Now I know which ones I want and which ones I can do without. Mechanic, I can do without Mechanic. I don't need to get a Mechanic. I'm going to save my $10, $15. I will have to get a Scare Glow. That's a $300 to $400 He-Man Scare Glow. Done, looking good. But Glenn, thank you. Keep doing that. And, we will check out your podcast. Appreciate it. We have an email, so let me read that. This one won't be awkward, Emily. So those of you who watch it, I'll tell the story. So this is the first time we had a video message. So me and Emily were what do we do? Because we know Bill's playing the video right now for everyone on YouTube. And me and Emily just kind of stared at each other. And then I realized if you're listening to the podcast, it's going to be dead air for a minute. What was I thinking? See, that was dumb of me. But we really we're just quiet, just staring at each other okay. Because we listened to the question beforehand. So it was an awkward moment. I'll have to work on that. Open to ideas. All right, this is from Ian Gallagher. I love Ian. Ooh, I saw your name. He mentioned you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, Rogue One. Good afternoon. Hope you are doing well or as well as possible during this time. First off, it's great to email you again. I emailed a while ago, and at the end of January, I had to work on creating and teaching a new class from scratch for our second semester, which is how I initially got off track. Then, when the quarantine happened in March and schools had to figure out all kinds of shit, and Johnny, I know you understand. Yes, Ian, I do. Second, I wanted to add to your World War II analogy with Emily. That's you, dude. He didn't even know you're on the team now. And he still mentioned you. That's fate. I actually am on a World War II kick right now. Not only did Nazis keep fighting after Hitler died, They didn't stop until they signed a surrender to both the United States and English forces and the Soviets. Same thing happened with Imperial Japan too, but way more drastic. There were imperial holdouts of the war well into the 1970s. So that means like 30 years of like, nah, dude, I'm still fucking mean and shit and a bad guy. All right, circling back to the original point of all this, it is definitely plausible in any scenario that holdouts still exist from the Empire. They don't know of the fall of the Emperor, or they take a more vigilante approach and fight until their death or they're stopped. Also, it's important to note that the Empire had a Plan B and C, as we were informed in Battlefront 2. I can't remember that. Anyway, the Emperor planned for everything to continue to operate normally and underwent Operation Cinder. Oh, yeah. Did you ever play that game?
No.
The story mode in Battlefront 2?
No.
The story mode was pretty good. In short, Battlefront 2 is gorgeous, but like I don't really like the gameplay. I imagine that's still the role of the Empire for those that are still loyal. My opinion is that, like Mike and Emily said, they're taking advantage of the Emperor's death. I also think that either Moff Gideon is acting on orders connected to Palp's death. Think about that. Palp had a history of using and taking Force babies since the Clone Wars. Ooh, Baby Yoda. Ooh. Or he's completely renegade and plans on using Yoju for his personal gain to become a new emperor. Thoughts? Thanks and talk later. Ooh. You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would rather him be on his own than have it be like tied into Palpatine.
Okay, so he's just basically just collecting Force users as weapons.
Yeah, for his own, for like his
Yeah.
own, like it could be a power grab of its own. I would, especially after my feelings on Rise of Skywalker, I would prefer to have Palpatine be away from the story. How about you?
I would be really fucking pissed off if they tied the Emperor into the Mandalorian. I would be like, you're all fucking Dave Filoni's. You fall in love with one character and you put him on everything. I hope Moff Gideon is collecting Force-using babies to turn them into his like loyal subjects and then have like ultimate weapons and he can be, the big bad guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It better be like that, because I swear to God, if I'm going to take this Baby Yoda and I'm going to go to the Emperor's new clone and I'm going to make him suck the life force out of him and then the Emperor will be back and I will be pissed. I might be done. Rogue done.
I think that would be the end of the Mandalorian for me, for sure.
Yeah. Shit. Did you know Moff Gideon was in Do the Right Thing?
Oh, that's right.
Small role. Young and skinny.
Yeah.
I was watching the Michael Jordan. I don't know if you watch it, but you might have seen the commercial. Like they did this 9-hour documentary about the last year of basketball. Michael Jordan played with the Bulls.
I'm on episode 5 right now. It's amazing.
Oh shit. Things I did not know about Emily Lind. What made you watch that?
Because I grew up with the Bulls.
Holy shit, are you a basketball fan?
Not particularly, but like that exact era, I sort of am, just because, I would have been 13 around that then. It was always, my dad's a huge Bulls fan and my brother as well, so it was always on TV at my house. And I liked watching Jordan and Pippen and Rodman and like BJ Armstrong and those guys.
Holy shit. She's like naming the team. I can't even do that. I wouldn't have come up with BJ Armstrong.
BJ Armstrong is awesome.
Like I totally would have gotten Pippen and Rodman, would not have pulled BJ Armstrong out my butt like you just did.
No, you have Steve Kerr and you had Tony Kukoc. Come on. It was an awesome team.
Dude, the things you'll find she's full of surprises.
The only time I've ever given a damn about sports.
Dude, that's so funny. Well, you know why, right? Michael Jordan was so huge, he was part of pop culture.
There you go.
See what I did there?
I did.
And soon you will too. Michael Jordan was pop culture. He was pop culture. Spike Lee was making his fucking sneaker commercials. He was Gatorade. He was McDonald's. Clearly he was Nike, right? That goes without saying. And then that documentary is fascinating. It just keeps getting better and better, Emily.
Oh, so good.
And the reason why I bring it up is because whatever episode I just got done watching, they talk about Spike Lee and you see Do the Right Thing and they play a clip. And I'm like, holy shit, it's fucking Moff Gideon. Young and skinny as hell. Like, totally not intimidating at all.
Yeah.
So, like, one hell of an actor. Because he was legit, like, just a skinny kid in that movie, man. Not kid, like, 7. Like, he was probably, like, late teenager, early 20 or whatever. But skinny and young, wow. And I was like, holy shit. But like I'm more shocked. I don't even want to talk about Moff Gideon anymore. I want to talk about like holy shit. Like I'm like, you probably didn't watch it. Maybe you saw the commercial. And she's like, yeah, dude, I'm on episode 5, and this is the fucking whole Dynasty Bulls team. Damn, you just dropped that shit on me out of nowhere. That's like you like picking up like 2 needles and some yarn, and I'm like, bro, you're gonna crochet? Like, let me show you the steps, which won't happen. I'm very impressed. That was really an awesome moment. All right, I think that's it. We went a little long today because we had some technical difficulties. Again, we're going to try and keep it to an hour, so Bill's going to be a little mad at me. This one is almost 2 hours, maybe like an hour and a half. I'm not sure. But it was a great time, that's for sure. Did you have fun?
I did have fun.
So any closing thoughts on Taika Waititi, Peyton Reed, or the Clone Wars finale, Clone Wars Saved?
Taika Waititi is what I'm excited about right now. That's my Star Wars happy place for the next probably while until we get some more Star Wars news. That'll keep me going for a while.
That is huge. That is huge. All right. Well, then that is it. Again, just a couple reminders. Emily is now a full-time host. But we are no longer weekly. We are bi-monthly. We're slowing it down and putting out hot quality on Rogue One Pod. So go to YouTube right now, because Bill Beck is killing it. And go to YouTube and like and subscribe. Rogue One Pod. He does some great visuals. And Emily, where can we find and follow you and hear you as well on the old interwebs?
You can listen to the other Star Wars podcast I do. That is the Cantobite Dispatch. You can listen to the Fast and the Furious podcast that I do called The Fan and the Furious. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at EFLind.
Awesome. And I am at Rogue One Johnny, and that is one with a W. You can check us out on Facebook, Rogue One Army, and Instagram, Rogue One Pod. And please send in video questions like Glenn to rogueonepod@gmail.com. It really makes it awesome. And let me run this by you, Emily. I realized relatively recently, I have my Twitter account, right? Rogue One Johnny. And then the podcast has a Twitter account, Rogue One Pod. I don't ever use Rogue One Pod. All I do is put the episodes out on it. I don't interact with Rogue One Pod. I interact with Rogue One Johnny. So I'm thinking about ditching the podcast one and just keep mine. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that makes sense. I have one individually for my podcast because I tweet a lot on my own, and I don't want that to be part of the podcast. But if you don't do that, and you're mostly tweeting about Star Wars, interacting with stuff for the pod anyway, then there's no reason to have both of them. Keep your personal one.
That's my point. They both serve the same purpose. So I'm there for the Star Wars talk.
Yeah.
And to interact with the friends that I made through the community.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I haven't really decided yet, but if you're listening and if you see, oh, that's gone, that's why. I'm going to kick that around. So we will see you 2 weeks from now. Hopefully Mike will be here. All right. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Till the next one. Rogue done.